Too many people listen to their own thoughts, whenever in actuality, their thoughts need to listen to them. Now you see, me as an overthinker, every time a thought pops up in my head, I'm just like, oh, and I'm hungry. I'm just like, oh, okay, well, what do I want to eat? And I start thinking about what kind of foods, and I start thinking about, oh, what would that taste like? What that, that's how I'd be like. But maybe to many of you guys, it's more like a flash, or like, just like maybe just a wandering thought, and you're just like, man, let me just do that. I don't really know. I can't speak for y'all. What I can speak on is whenever I'm playing some Apex and I push by myself, my squad is telling me, hey bro, like, we're not with you, and I die and I get teabagged, and then I start saying the most random, messed up, hateful thing ever. Because why? Because I wanted them to feel that same hate, that same rage, that same anger, and that same shame I felt whenever I just got whooped by them. I'm not gonna lie, I be getting whooped sometimes. When I'd be thinking like, oh, I'm such a good player, I shouldn't be getting whooped like that. I shouldn't be getting teabag spammed or crouch spammed, and I shouldn't be getting, I don't know, Wraith Portal to the other side of the map. I don't know, man. But let me tell you this. I want to show you guys that instead of listening to that thought, that flash of anger, that flash of, man, I guess I am hungry. Maybe I can get a third plate. Alright, bro. Chill. Like, instead of listening to that, maybe I could teach you guys how to get your thoughts to listen to you real quick. Now, it's just my little couple ideas that I just made up about like 10 minutes ago. I'm not gonna lie, I was just thinking, and I was falling in the same thought loop of like, oh, like, basically like just like thinking slowly more negatively about a situation, and I realized, I was like, man, that voice is getting louder and louder and louder, as I'm paying more attention to it. And it was almost like I was about to feel it, and then at 1 second I was just like, man, no, that like this thought isn't helping me. These thoughts, these moments of anger, or moments of just like these just moments, they don't have to be so strong. They don't have to dictate our lives, because at the end of the day, that's not really what I stand for. I wouldn't stand for doing something in spite of other people, as much as like I can get petty. I used to get really petty when I was younger. Now I don't really wanna. So here, if you're thinking someone like this, pay attention. The first step to really get through this is you gotta sit through the worst feelings for a long period of time. What am I talking about? I'm talking about depression, anxiety, self-doubt, overthinking, depersonalization, derealization, all of that, even more, way more. Sure, there may be mental health. Most people don't go to the doctor. Let's be honest, you guys probably don't go to the doctor, and yet you realize that there might be something wrong with you. I feel like us as a generation, we've been so sheltered, and me personally, I've been stuck in my room most of my life, and not because of my parents, mainly because of me. I didn't want to go out there and talk to people. I didn't really want to go outside. I was a sick kid growing up. I have a lot of allergies, some health conditions, but not really something too serious, I just got scared easily, so I just found that comfort in my Xbox, my friends, So I didn't find no need to go out and socialize and do all that. But all these self-doubt, this overthinking, all these negative emotions, they just came out because, well, I didn't really feel like I had no one to talk to. Maybe to a way I feel like this now, but I think I've built a bit of a support system. You got to build a support system around yourselves. You got to, those friends you trust, a family member you trust, hell, a random stranger that you trust. You met at 7-Eleven. You see him just sitting there with a sign saying, "Check out my music." Hey, shout out Joed, bro. Shout out Joed, man. Now that dude, I think about him and I realize how much he inspired me to keep going. So yeah, we gotta sit through that worst feelings for a long period of time. Because if you don't sit through that, like most of us have, then you won't get to this next step. Which is, at some point, you're gonna slowly start to want to do something about it. Keyword, slowly start to want to do something. Because let's be honest, how many of us right here have been realized that maybe we got some anger issues, we snap, or maybe whenever things get a little hard, I shut down, and I don't really want to deal with it, I'd rather just completely just not even focus on it. Like, it's not like we do that because we really wanna, we do it because we kind of feel like we have to. Almost like that's what we've been doing. That's what almost childhood trauma is like. It's hard, what you've been through matters. And sure, what might have helped you when you were a child doesn't mean it's going to help you now that you're becoming an adult, becoming a high school student, becoming a driver, a worker, a family person. Before you do anything, honestly, you could be 50 listening to this and realizing, hey, maybe I shouldn't be like this. Well, everyone's on their own timeline. Like I've mentioned before, man, sometimes it takes us longer to learn things than other people, and it's not your fault, really. It's just different for everybody, man. So you slowly start to want to do something about it. That little feeling of, man, like, if only, them if questions start popping in, and they slowly start to get louder, but slowly, depends on the timeline. Like I said, it could be days, months, years, possibly decades. Because that trauma we all face is just one's own, People have their own problems, and I guess we'll never know until we speak up about it. So next, you gotta realize that you really are the only person who has the power to control your emotions. Sure, we can blame somebody else for rage baiting us, our friends who know a bit too much about our family and they take advantage of it. At that point, you just gotta reconsider who are you? That's on you, in a way, for telling people just naively things that you shouldn't. And I'm sorry, but you gotta learn that lesson at some point. You have to tell people. You have to tell the wrong people the wrong things in order to learn that you shouldn't do them. We gotta make the mistakes first. So after you realize that you've been making, I guess, mistakes for most of your life in the sense of how you want to feel, how sense you want to change, because let's be honest, like, we can be wanting to sit in that negativity sometimes because it feels good to feel bad sometimes, it feels good to be pitied. But how long are you going to feel pitiful for yourself until you actually want to do something about it? And then once you realize that you could actually do something about it, that you're the only person who can fix you, not you can't fix her. I'm telling you, bro, you can't fix that girl. She has to fix herself, same way you have to fix yourself. So next, this includes really your thoughts, your mentality, your likes and dislikes, all of that, and basically any of your entire life. I like to call me chronically online. Hands up, I'm chronically online, but I think of life almost like a video game. Probably because I spent my life in video games for too long, but I can make the correlations. You know, I've realized recently that like almost you can choose your dialogue. You can choose how to respond back. You know, like a Telltale Walking Dead series, you know. Maybe sometimes you pick an option you think is good and it turns out bad. Like, bro, I thought that, I don't know what the sentence was, but I thought that sentence meant something else, bro. And it goes to do completely opposite. Yeah, that's because you're not lined up. You're not lined up with who you are. But once you start realizing that you can take control of how you feel and your actions, and that you're the only one that can really do that, not nobody else, no one else can save you. Like, we literally have the power to change anything about ourselves, physically, mentally, hell, if we believe spiritually, I don't know, whatever you believe in, bro, low key. Because that's why belief systems are so strong. That's why people believe in religion. That's why I believe religion's probably a good thing for most people. You know, people need this belief. But if you're like me and you just, I don't know, just religion hasn't really caught you in a way, or maybe you're not like me, but you just think something differently, then you might realize that we kind of have to build that for ourselves. We have to build that support. We have to build our own belief in ourselves. We can't let nobody else build it, because then it just doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it's for us. And screw wanting to feel included in other things, man. You don't need the validation of people who don't really care about you, man. The only people you need validation from are the people you care about. Your close family, your friends, your maybe coworkers too, in no sense, or you know, people who are directly involved in your life. But there's always levels, man. You know, where people have more control over certain things about you because you allow them to. You allow them, whether that's for good or for bad. You know, for good, you know, you let your mom calm you down whenever you get like that again. But bad, you know, you shut down whenever he raises his voice because you don't like getting yelled at and you'd rather just not have to deal with that. So yeah, like I said, you have the power to change anything about you, literally. And I know sometimes it feels so hard and like there's nothing we can do and there's no hope, but there is. And it feels so good once you start doing it. And once you see that it's actually changing. Every little change, every little thought, every little step matters and is proof. You gotta build that proof. Alright, so next. Once you realize that you can do something, you gotta identify what you think you want to change about yourself. What's really something that you feel like is not benefiting you, but it's just so ingrained in you that you're just like, I keep doing it, you know, I keep having bad hygiene. I don't shower, you know, but that's because like whenever I feel bad about myself, I feel like I don't deserve to be clean, or you know, I don't deserve to feel good. Alright? Or like I said, maybe you have a gambling addiction. I don't know. You like that rush of just the ifs and the maybes and well, the unknown. But you're always fighting against it. You know, you haven't really won much. You've been down. You've been negative for a long time, but you're tired of waiting. You're tired of doing that again. You're tired of pressing that spin button. But you can't for some reason. Don't worry, you'll get to that point. But now you just identified. You just identified what you wanted to change. So yeah, look inwards. Y'all, we gotta preach this more, bro. Look inwards, bro. Look into like how you feel. Especially as guys, I feel like guys definitely don't do this. Like, you gotta be in tune, man. You gotta like look in. You gotta just like realize what you feel isn't wrong. Even well, unless if it literally is wrong, if it's going against your morals, yet what you feel is, that's a different topic. But what I'm saying is, when you know what you feel shouldn't be that, say it's your brother's birthday and you're there, but you just don't really feel connected to the family. You feel like you don't really deserve to be there in a way, and I don't know, everything just feels so hollow, but everyone around you is happy, and you have to fake the smile. You have to make sure everyone else is feeling good, but no one's making you feel good, man. And so if no one's making you feel good, nobody's helping you, nobody's really being that for you, then you gotta be that for you. Think of yourself as that little kid when you were growing up. What would that little kid have wanted? What would you have wanted when you were younger? Would you have wanted somebody to explain every little thing, to answer every question that you had, but people thought you were annoying? So you stopped asking questions and you learned not to be curious, but kind of stagnated. Would you have wanted somebody who would have just been there to listen? Or maybe would have wanted better parents, man. Parents that were never in your life. Maybe they were on drugs, maybe they were just not present. Maybe you had split custody and you just wanted a real father, a real mother. So you just found that in somebody else. I'm sorry. That's not how it has to be. You have to try to either repair that relationship, but if it's too far gone, you gotta learn how to find that love for yourself. It's hard. The doubt will come, but that's normal because you have to sit with these feelings, man. We too easily we switch to drugs, we switch to alcohol, we switch to medications, we switch to gaming, we switch to just anything that makes us feel good. We switch to food, man. We switch to working out. How much people just go to the gym anytime they need to do something or they feel something, they feel that anger, they feel that, sure, maybe getting the gym helps you, it's been helping you, but if you're just always working your body, and never letting yourself rest, you're doing more damage than you were doing before, But that doubt will come. It's necessary. That doubt is there to test you. It's your limits. You can listen to it. You will listen to it at points. You will listen. You will be like, you know what? I don't want to do anything today, man. I'm tired of making YouTube videos from now. It's just so much work, and I don't want to do this because, man, think of a new concept every time. I just feel like maybe people aren't gonna enjoy what I listen to. People aren't gonna care what I say. People aren't gonna enjoy my gameplay. I don't think I play good, but I still want to do this, but not. Your doubt is valid. It's valid. But it's doubt. And once you identify what your doubt sounds like in your head, it's gonna take time. But once you identify, them common themes of the feeling kicks in, the thoughts, the overthinking flares up, the anxiety flares up, start feeling everything crash, and you start feeling like you might die, then that's when you have to take back control. Those are the important moments where somehow you can't succumb to the same pressures as you have been, because that's how you grow. At the end of the day, it's all about being intentional with it. As long as you're doing something for the purpose of bettering yourself, such as completing that change you've been wanting to do, as long as you're making that slow step every day, that slow walk, that slow, sluggish, almost drag across the sand, because that's what it's going to feel like. As long as you're inching closer instead of inching away, then you can have full faith in the unknown of the future. You can know that what you're doing, it doesn't matter if it's gonna work out or not. because you're just getting closer every day. And you're not, from what you know, you're not going to stop till you get there. However long that takes. Because there is no set timeline for nothing, y'all. If you think it's been too late, if you think you're cooked, you're not cooked. I'm telling you right now, you're not cooked. Hopefully I'm living proof of that. But anyways, y'all, this is Dia. I'm hoping y'all enjoyed this style of content now. I'm starting to really get into this commentary. Hope y'all like the little Roblox. This is Dia. I'm hoping y'all having a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever y'all doing. I just hope y'all having a good one. And as always, I wish you guys all peace. But more than anything, I love you guys. So yeah, stay safe.